Welcome to Exhibitor Lounge, sponsored by ExhibitEdge.com. Now, I'm your host and your trade show mixologist, Michael Gray. Here each week, you receive simple, practical, and proven tips to improve your trade show marketing strategy and get better results while maximizing your budget. Well, we've asked Mike to come back again. Mike is from Mike Gruenberg Consulting. And this is what Mike does for a living, is teach people about the proper way to market trade shows. And he has an order for events, and we kind of hinted at it last week, but I really want to dig in deep. And so thank you, Mike. Welcome again. I appreciate you coming back.
Thanks for having me.
And what we're going to talk about this week is, I guess, before the show or an introduction to getting ready for the show. So let's kind of take a look. I know you mentioned last week, is the trade show worth it?
Right.
Okay, so what does that really mean? Let's get
into
that.
There are organizations, Mike, that study this stuff. An organization called CEIR, and they do studies every year. And consistently, they come back and they say, you know what? Trade shows are worth it. It's something where in the 80% category of the people who show up, 80% of them are either decision makers or influencers. So if you think about the fact that every 90 seconds a prospect, a customer is walking by, that's pretty intense. But it takes a different kind of sales strategy at a trade show as opposed to if I called on you just as a prospect or a customer coming into your office. That's a whole different thing. So the people who go to the trade show need to be schooled on exactly how the pace is different at a trade show as it would be on a regular sales call.
Okay, now I'm kind of going to lead in with this question
Okay.
because I know a little bit from your background and having you as a client and working on show floors. How do you get your salespeople ready to work a booth? And here's the lead in, for fun and profit.
Right. Well, you know, I'd love to say we go to trade shows for fun. We go there for profit. Everybody has a role, whether it's just 2 people at the booth or 22 people at the booth. Everybody should have a specific. The thing that drives me crazy is I go to trade shows and I see these sales reps talking amongst themselves, and good prospects and customers are walking right by. There's a rhyme and a reason to a trade show. If you have 5 people at the booth, Bob is at this station, Mary is at this station, and so on. And there should be what I call, and maybe it's inappropriate, but a traffic cop. Somebody who's directing traffic into the booth. Somebody says, it makes sense because you read the label, you read the name tag, and sometimes the people coming by are not appropriate for your product or service. It just happens.
So one person's kind of like a screener,
yeah,
and then they direct them to the right person within the booth.
Right, and they greet the person warmly. Said, and the way to greet somebody is not say hi, how you doing, but what I was used to use, and you've heard it a million times, is, can I share with you what we're doing here at our company? That's a very easy way for somebody to say, oh, okay. It's not as, how you doing? Well, I'm not doing so good. How you doing? Well, you know, I had a fight with the wife yesterday. You don't want to do that. So you want to say, may I share what you're doing? Well, I'm interested in so-and-so. Oh, you are? Mary over there is really good at that particular product that we have. Let me introduce you to Mary. So all of a sudden, you've taken away I guess, the superficiality of just showing up.
It's not just haphazard.
No, it's not haphazard. You say, okay, you know, Mr. Prospect, I want you to introduce you to Mary. Right. She's really good at this. And all of a sudden, it breaks down the barriers. Because what you want to do is break down the barrier. And you know, having seen trade shows, you want it open. You don't want that desk in the middle, which separates you from the client. Right. You want them to come in. This is your home for 3 days.
And I know that you have goals for the salespeople, and they know these goals up front. So there's an incentive before the show even starts for them to meet certain criteria or goals or appointments, I think you called it.
Well, there are 2 things. There's a goal. Why are we here? What are we doing here? Well, we're introducing a new product. You know, it's the latest whiz-bang technology.
Sure.
Okay, fine. So my expectation of the salespeople is have appointments. don't just show up. If you're going to the trade show, you know it's coming up months, years in advance, have appointments. If you have definite appointments with people, then they know to come at 10 o'clock on Tuesday to meet the senior VP of sales or whatever, and make it worthwhile. But I always felt that if salespeople didn't have appointments around the trade show, there's no need for them to show up.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
that kind of leads me, I guess, into our last question for this week. So how does marketing start getting traffic to the booth?
It's marketing's role to create the excitement, to create the buzz. Remember I told you more than once, marketing creates the need, sales fills it. So whether it's pre-show mailers, whether it's invitation to a party, whatever it might be, marketing's role is to support the sales effort.
And this happens weeks before the show even
Months
starts.
before
Months before the
months
show.
before the show. You know, the organization will send you the attendee list so you know who's showing up. Send them the email information, say, okay, we'd love to see you at our booth. And by the way, if you come up to the booth, you'll be entered in a drawing for, an iPad or entered for whatever you're giving away.
Right.
Giveaways are really important, Mike. People like that. Even if it might be a sticky pad or a pen or a pencil, whatever it is, people will show up. They always do. And now marketing has fulfilled their role to bring people into the booth.
Right,
That's
but
their
it's
job.
not just a giveaway to give it away, but it's all part of a marketing strategy.
Never.
That's done.
Never just give it away.
Right.
You want to get a card or a name or a contact. Would you like the sticky pad? Yeah, I would. Can you just tell me who you are? Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
And all of a sudden, because they'll say, oh, that's great. I'll put it in the pocket and leave.
Or 3 or 4 or
Oh,
5.
3 or 4, right.
All right, well, that's all the time we have for this week, but he's coming back again, so we're going to dig in at the show next time. So, as always, please respond with your questions or comments and let others know about exhibitorlounge.com. Hey, we'll see you next week. Until then, I'm your host, Michael Gray, telling you, hey,
Hey,
relax
absolutely.
in the Exhibitor Lounge.